Herman Cargo, popularly known to many as Professor Hamo, needs little introduction, having etched a name for himself in the Kenyan comedy industry. The self-proclaimed professor, however, did not make a career easily. He started with small steps, and through patience, he has managed to come to the top of his game. As narrated by Daniel Churchill Ndambuki during a 2016 interview on Woman Without Limits, he stated that Professor had undergone 6 auditions before he finally qualified for the show. Professor Hamo used to sell mandazis in Nakuru, and he went for audition 6 times at the carnival and failed. His parents became tired of giving him money to come to Nairobi because nothing was coming out of it. When Churchill took the show to Nakuru, together with the team that listens to aspiring comedians, was surprised to learn that Professor Hamo used to travel all the way from Nakuru when he auditioned at Carnival in Nairobi. Out of mercy and pity for him, Churchill's team decided to give Hamo a chance at the live stage. There were many talented people in Nakuru and who had been included in the program, but due to his persistence, Professor Hamo was asked to perform on the show as the very first person. Surprisingly, Professor Hamo was not even introduced on the stage, but was instead asked to begin his act. He took the microphone and went to the podium, but when he got there, he had nothing to say and only said what came to his mind. People loved him and cheered him on. When he came back to Nairobi, he did Churchill Row, and immediately, Churchill gave him a new title of Professor Hamo. He is now a big sensation in the laugh industry, always leaving audiences in stitches with his unique style. The 40-year-old Nakuru professor is a college dropout, having attended only 2 years of what was supposed to be a 3-year diploma in electrical engineering at Kisumu Polytechnic. His decision was informed by lack of passion in electrical engineering. He instead ventured into theater and stand-up comedy in Nakuru while also selling mandazi and training dogs as a side hustle. His name is Herman Cargo, hence the name Hamo, who turned out to be professor after he looked at his level of stupidity and realized he had a lot of brains, and since he used to sport a beard and an afro hairdo, and that is how professor came to be. Initially, he was just Hamo the entertainer. That was back in 2014, before he did a breakthrough performance in the Churchill on the Road Nakuru edition show. He had auditioned 6 times, the first being in 2011 when he was shown the door and told he had the talent to be in the audience but not a performer. 3 years later, he tried again a couple of times, commuting from Nakuru every week for auditions, and unfortunately, the comedy lines were not coming through. He was pregnant with something, but he did not know it was a miscarriage. Eventually, he became broke again and he stopped coming for auditions. After making his debut into the comedy industry in the Nakuru show, Professor Hamo disappeared. This was because he was performing during the recording sessions, but his acts were not being aired. At one time, his performance was uploaded on YouTube and it went viral, and that was the time he had been featured in the open mic performance, and in mid-January 2015, he did his first show as Professor Hamo, adopting an incorporation of music into comedy. Professor Hamo is one guy that loves music. However, he says that he used to be a bathroom artist, but at some point he was coached and joined his home church St. Peter's Catholic Church Choir, where he used to hit the high notes that he knew pull off during the show. Apart from comedy, Hamo has knowledge in electrical engineering as he studied the course majoring in power option at Kisumu Polytechnic for 2 years before dropping out. He says he now freelances as an electrician. Professor Hamo is also someone who has been a mandazi seller and also a dog trainer provoking German shepherds as though he was a robber just to get the beast to deal with those who break into the affluent Nakuru homes. The reason Professor Hamo decided to drop out of school was because he was not ready to become a professional electrician. He just wanted to prove that he was good in it, but it was not his passion. He eventually got tired and left college. His father did not pressurize him to go back to school, as he was the kind of parent who watches someone warning him or her that life will hit them hard. Professor Hamo enjoys seeing himself on TV because for most comedians usually perform during the recording. He says he is usually impressed and also he enjoys the show all the same. With all his funny jokes, Professor Hamo also enjoys listening to his jokes, although most times he is usually not present at home to watch the show since he is a busy professor. When asked where he gets his content from, he replied by saying that it is from matatu rides, where he eavesdropped a lot when people are having conversation amongst themselves or during phone conversation. He also loves reading inspirational books, which is where he also gets his content from. The sensational comedian has made huge milestone in his career by joining Hot 96 as a co-host to Jeff Koinange after Jalango's departure. The 40-year-old comedian who landed in comedy by sheer luck is a living proof of God's work and testimony. However, the lad is as cool as a cucumber away from the screens. Contrary to what most people think, from a struggling street comedian signing huge deals, Hamo has inspired many who want to achieve more in life using their God-given gifts. Professor is a married man and a father of 2 children. He is a man who was born and brought up in Nakuru, where he grew up in the military base in Lanet, as his father was in the army. This was way back in the year 1980 when he was born. Also unfortunate is that his father died on the 5th of October in the year 2016 after a heart attack. Besides his comedy job, he is also an events MC and also a radio presenter. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our today's story. Do not forget to subscribe if you have not yet done so. You can also like and share with friends and family, and also drop a comment if you can.